Here, Jake Claver tells a story on how extremely wealthy individuals are beginning to invest in cryptocurrencies, particularly XRP, as 99.9% of people worldwide do not possess any XRP. You begin to wonder what will happen to the remaining XRP and other cryptocurrency assets when the next 100 to 200 million people enter the digital asset market over the course of the next several years. In addition to getting into this, I wanted to offer you a ton of other XRP news. Let's begin with the story, though. I felt it was important to mention here. Tell me a story that was recently told to me. I'm excellent friends with this person. I think he's unnamed. He picked up this wealthy family from a cousin who works as an Uber driver. He hears him talk a little bit in the back seat and begins to converse with him a little bit as they drive back to the hotel in Orlando after visiting Disney World, and it's clear from their attire that they were wealthy. I'm not even sure if I should mention the family's name. If you have ever eaten any of their singles, you are likely familiar with this well-known food brand. They possess a huge quantity of XRP. Many of the individuals you named are beginning to realize this. Recently, some very large family offices that have begun to make considerable investments have spoken with us. On the XRP, there are only 7.4 million wallets, out of a total of 7 million. Do you realize how uncommon it is if you're here? That's like there are only 7 people on the Earth out of 8 billion. We will refer to it as 8 million wallets. The world's population is 8 billion. 8 million wallets exist. What is the total number of Bitcoin wallets? There are currently a large number of Bitcoin wallets. Bitcoin is owned by several people. XRP is not owned by many people. There are half of those wallets with less than 100 XRP. Not a lot of XRP. Perhaps a day after the price increase, it might be a substantial sum of money. However, individuals who have already made a significant amount of money are the other factor. What is their main goal, do you know? It is the preservation of wealth and the return of capital. They will avoid taking excessive risks or, gambling with large sums of money in order to place themselves in a losing position. You ought to just have to become wealthy once. All right? And they are aware of that. They are therefore still at danger from this entire asset class. This is the Wild West. They won't even glance at it. 62% of family offices do not now allocate any funds to cryptocurrency or plan to do so in the future. Out of the more than 10,000 family offices worldwide, it accounts for 38% or $16 trillion. Of those, 4 trillion are even considering this asset class. Perhaps 5 trillion out of 16. And those are the individuals who made their fortunes through high-risk, high-return ventures, such as founding businesses or engaging in extremely profitable activities that may result in a billion-dollar exit. Again, those with the money don't want to take the chance if those folks aren't willing to do it. Their money has already been earned. I've been having a lot of talks here lately because they view it as a hedge against the losses, which is why, there aren't more, but there are starting to be. Given some of the material I've released, they might originate from the reverse carry trade. I'm now having those discussions. Oh, I'm going to make a bunch of money isn't the point. Yes, it is. How can I protect my riches and utilize this as an unrelated loan that will protect me from the damages I will incur when this other stuff winds down? The billions of dollars they have in XRP are not being dumped. They are protecting their riches. And I believe that after price appreciation, many people will need to adopt that new way of thinking. I apologize once more for getting on people's nerves, but it's all about one thing. Think of wealth production and preservation as a tree. A seed will be planted by you. That seed will be watered by you. You will only do that. For 5, 6, or 7 years, the tree will grow and develop a large trunk, which represents the central idea of your investment, whether it's your company, an investment, or some other means of producing significant value for society. It will develop into a large, towering plant that will eventually bear fruit and spread out. Now that you have all these branches, you are diversifying into other areas so that you can protect against losses. If a tree is struck by lightning on one side, it will still survive because it has branches in other areas that will survive past the death of this one section of the tree. There are a lot of possible outcomes if it develops a fungus, right? However, if you've created, your core remains, that's wealth preservation at scale. In the event that a portion of the tree dies, you have branches that spread out into numerous different regions, but you still have a large, sturdy trunk and perhaps a sizable allotment in one area. Hopefully, you won't take another chance after price appreciation. As I mentioned before, hopefully each of us has a fairly sturdy tree that might not burn down in the event of lightning. Here, Jake talks about his conversations with wealthy people who are concerned that the carry trade will cause the stock market to decline significantly and that the bond market may be experiencing problems. These people are using assets like XRP as a hedge against that risk, and they are utilizing XRP, Bitcoin, and other assets as a hedge against all of these other factors, such as inflation, as well as potential world events, rather than investing all of their wealth in XRP. Therefore, I believe there was some worth there. The tree stuff improved somewhat. Nevertheless, I simply wanted to let you know about it. I also wanted to look at the data and show you that although there are about 7 to 9 million XRP ledger accounts, the actual number of XRP owners is probably far fewer. In the lower millions, which means that far over 99% of people do not possess any XRP, which is well less than 1% of the global population. We're looking at these wallets in general, so you may have 5 or 6 of these wallets if you have an account on several exchanges, several ledgers, numerous descents, or multiple wallets. Thus, if 2 million people have 3 or 4 wallets, it is the total number of XRP owners worldwide. That's definitely closer to 2 million individuals now, but I'd estimate it at between 2 and 3 million. You know what we have? 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 20 XRP holders, for example. Okay, let me to demonstrate this for you. Although there are currently between 7 and 8 million XRP accounts, the true number of XRP owners is probably far smaller, in the lower millions. That is far less than 1%. According to Finbull's H1 2025 report, the number of XRP wallets increased from approximately 6.28 million to approximately 7.12 million between January 1st and June 30th, 2025. Tens of thousands more account set operations in brief windows are described in later reports in Q4 2025 as part of continuous increases in new account activity, indicating that the total count had surpassed roughly 7.1 million. According to Jake, it's approximately 7.6. Let's simply utilize that figure. Then, in 2025, how many people are likely to hold XRP? According to analysts using the rich list methodology, a smaller but more significant portion of holders, 100,000 wallets, hold at least 10,000 XRP. Large numbers of end users are gathered by exchanges and custodians behind a comparatively small number of on-chain addresses. Tens of hundreds or thousands of custodial users per huge site are thus missed by on-chain address counts. You might also have more than one wallet. I appreciate you being here. Next time, I'll see you.